E aí?
Tudo bem?
Quanto tempo a gente não se vê pessoalmente, né?
Nossa, ainda mais com a pandemia. Faz tempo
Nossa,
mesmo.
com essa pandemia toda, é só online mesmo.
Só online, sim.
A gente já vai começar já. Deixa o povinho entrar. A Elaine já tá aí,
Beleza.
Thalita já tá aí. Os alunos estão todos chegando. E aí? Tá muito calor por aí? Porque aqui tá insano o negócio. Tá uma
Meu,
loucura.
durante a semana fez bastante calor. Tipo assim, às 9 da manhã já batendo os 35 graus. Aí chegou o final de semana e daí a gente quer sair, dar uma volta, tá nublado e frio.
Uhum.
Bem típico. Mas durante a semana fez muito calor.
Puxando o seu saco já. Saudades, Pedro. A Thalita
Ah,
lá.
tá. Saudade de você também, minha
Puxando o
primeira
seu.
professora.
Oi, Lucas, bem-vindo, tudo bem? A gente já vai começar, tá? Porque a gente vai começar em inglês, a gente só está esperando o pessoal entrar aqui e a gente vai bater um papo muito legal com esse menino que eu conheço desde sempre.
Tem
Eu vou
bastante coisa para falar.
vou falar bem devagarzinho para todo mundo que entrar aqui, mas nós vamos fazer já estou pensando em inglês. We're gonna talk about a little bit job market, career, and English learning, which is the most important thing we're gonna do here today. Hi, Zobeida, how are you? How's everything? She's from Iran, Pedro, and she doesn't miss one single live stream. Hello, how
Hi.
are you? This is Pedro, my student. Well, Pedro has been my student since I lost count because I am a boomer. I'm an old person. And Pedro has been my student since he was 9 years old. And today I'm really proud. I think I am really proud. All his family is proud. Everybody's proud. He works at a TV station, at a TV network in Sao Paulo. So let me just introduce you, Pedro. This is Pedro Fernandes. He's 24. I teach him since he was 9. And my dear, thank you for being here with me. The floor is yours,
My
and the word
pleasure.
is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, as you said, I started taking English classes when I was 9, and it was way before I felt really comfortable with the language. As I was saying to you before, my English classes were always like I felt really good because before I started taking English class with you, I remember crying before any tests in school. So I told my mom that I was really scared. I was panicking, and she said, "That's it. We're gonna need a private teacher for you, and we're gonna seek some kind of help because it's not normal." I always felt so nervous, and you started this school in 2005, I believe, and it was so close to my house. And
Mm-hmm.
my brother, he started taking class with you before me, right?
Yep. Fernando,
And
elder brother, he started having classes
yes,
before. Yeah.
yes. And I remember my first class with you was just me, and I was feeling very anxious, very nervous because it was the first time. I was 9 years old, and I felt like everything before in school was like, I don't know English, I don't like this language, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And it made me feel so comfortable because I always knew that if I had some kind of help, and private tutoring, I knew I could feel like maybe this isn't such a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And every time, every class we had, I never felt like in my conscious that I was learning because I always felt like in my subconscious I was really learning. When I started understanding any movie that I was watching and any video on YouTube, and I didn't need the subtitles. And that was when I realized, oh, maybe English doesn't have to be like this scary thing to learn. And you always made me feel very comfortable. And that was
Mhm.
the greatest thing that you could ever done to me.
Mhm. It's great because let me tell everybody that you start having classes with Talita, my wife, in the
Yeah.
beginning. And halfway through your course, you started studying in with me. And thankfully, I have many students. And Pedro was one of the ones who I passed my passion for New York. And
Yes.
in 2011, I had the chance to take like 21 students of mine to New York. One of them is Felipe, who's in chat right now, seeing you, Felipe Santana. And it was an amazing experience. But how old were you then? Tell them about this experience when you arrived there.
Uh, my parents, they always knew I wanted to go to New York. And when it came to them saying that there was an opportunity for us to go and to take English classes in this great school, I was really excited because I always wanted to go there. I was always watching movies and saying like I wanted to go to New York. I always liked like big cities.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 14 when we started planning this, and we went to New York when I was 15 in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an amazing experience, but also at the same time, it was like a really big scary one because I remember we were going to the airport and you said to me, once you board on the airplane, that's it. English is the only language you're going to speak. It's not
Yeah.
like here in Brazil, because here, if you don't understand something, you can just say, oh, can you say that again in Portuguese? But I remember when we were boarding on the plane and the crew, they were welcoming us and they started welcoming us in English. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is it. From now on, I have to speak English. If I say any word in Portuguese, they won't understand. And when we first got to New York and we were passing the security,
Mm-hmm.
they were asking for IDs and all kind of things, and I was like, okay, this is it. We're gonna have this amazing experience, and it was 4 weeks, amazing 4 weeks. I
Yeah.
remember to these days.
Yeah. It was a dream come true. And
Yeah.
when you came to us to have this opportunity of going to New York, like your mom told me, please take care of him because you were underage then. And really, all the underage students that were there, I were like a father to them, and it was an amazing experience. And Pedro, how is English for you today? How did English help you lately at your job or anything that you do? Why do you think people should come to me? Now I have lots of students, thank God, even more so than before. But why do you think people should search for my method and search for me to learn with me?
Well, when I first started studying English with you, I didn't realize how important this could be for me.
Mm-hmm.
At first, was just okay, this is gonna help me in English tests back in school, and this is it. But we studied for so many years, and I learned so many things. And today, I'm really like comfortable speaking English, although I'm not practicing as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much every interview I ever had in my life for my careers, when I was seeking a job, and they were always asking me, how's your English? Do you feel comfortable speaking English? Can you write in English?
Mm-hmm.
And so many people, they couldn't actually say, okay, I feel comfortable speaking English as I am with you right now.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was always okay. I can speak English. It's not a problem for me. I studied for so many years. I went to New York, and it's not an issue. And sometimes they called me for an interview in English, which
Mm-hmm.
um, was really a challenge, but not impossible. So I think nowadays, if you're gonna try to do anything with your life, English is very important because I believe many years ago, people who could speak English, like not a lot of people could, but nowadays it's more, people can study English in the internet or with private tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to an interview or if you want to do any projects, I don't know if it's in college or in professional careers,
Mm-hmm.
English is very important. It doesn't matter where you're going, because I remember this one day uh, at work. It was many years ago. It was during the World Cup, and this guy called to the TV station where I work. He was from, I don't know, England maybe, and he wanted to know for some tickets. I don't remember actually what he wanted, but he started talking to a colleague, and
Mm-hmm.
this colleague said, "I don't understand what you're saying. Does anybody here speak English?" And I say, "Okay, let me try." So I pick up the phone, and he started asking a few things, and I had this like 5 minute conversations, and that was the very first time that I realized, okay, this is it. This is why they
Mm-hmm.
started so hard for so many years. And nowadays, if people they really want to learn English, they need to understand that it's not something that most people say, oh, come here, study English with me. In 2 months, you're gonna speak all the English and you can travel. And 6 months, it's not exactly about the time, but actually it's more about how you do it, and the methods that you're always teaching me, and wasn't like boring. It wasn't just about a book that you need to check and okay, let's take a test. No, you were always playing videos, and we were always listening to music, and it was really funny. And as I said before, for me it's not just about learning consciously.
Mm-hmm.
I was always learning subconsciously. I didn't realize that I was learning. And that's why it was so much fun for me.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing that I do in my classes with everybody or my lessons, it doesn't matter how you say it. We laugh all the time. I try to
Yes.
make English fun, and with Pedro, because he's such a great learner. As you can see, he started at 9 years old, and now he's 24. But he's fluent. He speaks English without any thinking, So, but anyone can do the same, So,
Yeah.
because there's one word for English today. I study English, to tell you the truth, guys. I study English for 34 years. 34 years. And I have graduated. I was 17. So I don't stop studying English because the language doesn't stop evolving. So now I teach from 9 in the morning to 9 at night.
Yeah.
And that's my pleasure. And as I told you, with my YouTube channel, it's just something else that I can reach even more people. That's why I got the name Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, because I had an interview with Brent Watson in August that changed my career completely. Because, okay, can I make mistakes in English? Of course you can. I
Sure.
make
Yeah.
make you make mistakes. Everybody does. So, but the level of English that you have achieved in such a short time is not only talent, because everybody can learn anything they want to learn. Because, like, I hate math. I'm sorry, I don't like
Yeah, me too.
math, and I'm not good at math. But if I want to learn, I can stop and do some dedication. So the word for English learning or for any language learning, I have a friend here, Aaron. He lives in Milan, and he has a podcast for Italian learning, also on a YouTube channel, Talk Italian with Aaron. And he might agree with me. The word for learning a language is consistency, and
Yes.
throw yourself into the experience. That's what you did. Because when you arrived at our school when you were 9 years old, you were literally in panic, afraid of
Yes.
anything concerning English. And we had to let your guard down first, to destroy that idea that English was horrible, that you wouldn't learn, but you were amazing. And one I want you to tell some facts about the classes that you had with me, either any passage that we had in New York during class that you can't forget. And before you answered, let me just say hello to Breno, who I don't see in a long, long time,
Me
who was
neither.
mine as well. Okay, and please tell a memory that you share and like to remember with us from the classes.
Well, I remember every time before any class, I wasn't like feeling, "Oh, okay, another English class. I don't feel like going." It was always so funny, and 1 hour felt like 5 minutes. It was really amazing how I could
Mhm,
actually learn at the same
mhm,
time, have some kind of fun, you know. And I remember in New York when you, I remember you were always testing me. It, when you were by my side and you saw someone speaking English with me, you didn't just come to me and said, "Oh, do you need some kind of help?" No, you always let me, understand and speak to the other person.
I was always
And
behind. I was
yes,
always,
yes.
yeah.
And I
Uh-huh.
remember because this very month in New York uh, was the very reason for every year that I took English class with you. And
Mm-hmm.
you and Talita, you were always great to me. And every time we had some kind of test, I remember it wasn't like just some kind of test. You were always with me, and I was always asking you, "Oh, I don't understand this," and you're always at the same time teaching me. So I think that's great because you have to learn English. You don't have to learn like the old-fashioned way. You can learn in some kind of fun environment. And
Yeah.
Talita, she will always challenging me. I remember this very first day that I started this presentation on PowerPoint, and I wanted to say like, okay, I want to make this presentation about New York, and it was way before we went to New York. So I started searching for the landmarks and the history about New York, and she was always encouraging me to take the next step. And when I
Mm-hmm.
started taking English class with you, it was a little bit harder, but at the same time, it was funny, and
Because
I
I
was
pushed more. I pushed you
yes,
with. I was always searching to take you to the extra mile. Go
yes,
for, go further, go further. That's what I did to you, and the
and I
same
always felt
thing that I did to Murilo. So
yes, I always felt like we don't have like this relationship between student and teacher. I always felt like we could be friends, we could like have this relationship about trust, and I could
yeah.
trust you to not only teach English with me, but that very time that I crashed my mom's car. And for those of you who
It's
don't know what I'm
amazing.
talking about, when I was 13 years old, my mom bought this new car, and I started the car, and I crashed it. Like, so I was panicking, and I went to Rodrigo and Talito for help. That day we don't have to remember very much, but
Yeah. His father got a little bit mad, but everything was
just a little
okay.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, and
They
one
were
thing that I
glad that
want
it was
to say,
okay.
Yeah, one thing that I want to say is that, guys, if you have any questions to Pedro, please bring them up, because now you can ask any kind of questions. I have a lots of students there. You can read the comments. And for me, teaching English, even on YouTube right now, and going live, is always a new experience. Always have butterflies. It doesn't matter that I teach English for 25 years now. In
Yeah,
2021, it's going to be 25 years. Every new video, every time I go live, I'm always nervous. That's not okay. But I think this is good, because when we're not nervous anymore, it means that we're not caring about what we are doing.
yeah,
And I study English every single day. There's not one single day that I don't learn about English, because I want to teach better. I want to be better for my students. And when you say that going to our school, it was not by learning a language or by learning English, you went there before the time of your class because you wanted to chat. So
yeah.
you said my other classes, and we would exchange and carry conversations for a long time before. So this is the way I am. I like to make students and at the same time to make friends, and I want you to tell them in what you have graduated in and what kind of job that you do today and where.
Um, so I graduated in 2017 in advertising and marketing. Now I'm working at this TV station, Bandeirantes, with merchandising, which
Mhm.
is which is amazing, which I love. And I can see now that I've been living in São Paulo for 6 years, and every time I was like searching for a job or back in school, I remember this lecture that I went from some guys. They were teachers at this marketing school back in Boston, I believe, and they only speak the English. They were only speaking English with me and everyone else. And I remember understanding everything and
Yeah.
speaking back to them. So now that I'm working here and I'm starting my professional career, I can see that English is a huge part of my life.
Hmm.
And I remember many years ago when I used to panic and I used to hate the language, and now I feel so comfortable speaking with you
Hmm.
and kind of excited when I speak English with somebody else.
Hmm.
But I feel really happy and really proud at the same time that I came through all of this, and I will always remember those days back in school, and I can see the results nowadays, especially when we went abroad and
Hmm.
now here in my professional career. So I highly recommend to everyone that it doesn't matter if you're scared or if you don't like, if you find it boring. English is a very important part of who
Hmm.
we are today in 2020. So many people they need to start learning some other language, and English is like the primordial one.
Of.
And
Hmm.
here I am today, and in my resume I say that I went to study in New York and I study English with you. And every time they ask me, okay, perhaps if you started working here you're gonna have to speak English, and etc. And I say, okay, I'm fine with this. And it makes me feel really happy because I can see that I'm evolving at the same time. And
Yeah.
as you said, you've been studying English for so many years, and there's still a lot of things to learn. I
Hmm.
wish I could like start take English class with you again, like we
Yeah.
used to once a week.
Whenever.
But everything is going so crazy right now. So
Hmm.
I really hope I can go back to take those English class because if
Of
you
course.
stop if you
Anytime.
stop practicing, yeah,
You have my.
if you like if you stop practicing, it just you feel like a little bit
Hmm.
rusty, you know. And not for me right now. I don't know
Hmm.
if I'm like being clear enough, but you know, when you practice, it's the only way to make sure that not only that you forget words, but you, sometimes if you try to speak after so
And
many some
practice, perfect. Practice
yes.
makes. Let me say hi to Inglês com Melissa, my friend from Ribeirão Pretos here watching us. Hello. And let me tell something very important, Pedro. Tomorrow I'm going live, my first live with a guest on YouTube at 9 a.m. for us. Why so early? Because my guest is from Manchester, England. So Gino and I, my friend from Real English, Real Everyday English. I was forgetting his channel name. He's gonna kill me. We're gonna go together on my first joint live stream. It's gonna be amazing. So you guys find my channel and watch because tomorrow is gonna be really fun. Um, and Pedro, I think that you told me that you are a little bit rusty with English. No, you're not, because I think that in your case, you have started learning at such a very young age, and you fell in love with the language at a very young age as well. So that means that even though you're not taking classes with me right now because your life is hectic, you are watching series, you watch movies, you do everything that you have to do, to keep the language up to date. So
Yes.
that's why I love to do those interviews, because I have shown people from all ranges of ages, people of people who were 38, people 24, Aron from Italy is 25, and he speaks very great English as well. And I like to tell what you are telling now, the kind of job that you do and how English helped you. I like to bring inspirational stories, and there's not one single person that I have brought on Instagram with me. There are not inspirational stories, at least for me, these stories are very
Yeah.
inspirational. So, because we can also show these people that everyone has a way of learning, because maybe your way of learning is not my way of learning. But what is important again is consistency. And Brent Watson told me to do quick videos, like grammar quick videos to put on the channel. And I recorded the first one and I said, wow, let's see how it's going to happen. And it was really very well seen, because people love quick videos now, because you know that people don't like very long videos, but people are really loving the interviews that I've been doing, like this one. It's going to be on the channel on Monday. So I record interviews, I go live with interviews, and I think this is the way that we have to do. And the pandemic time that you told, I always like to say that 2020 was the year of reinvention, because we
Yeah.
needed to reinvent ourselves. To tell you the truth, I've been teaching from home since March 9th, but the school is not closed. It seems that the school is closed because the building is closed, but I have been working like crazy, and like, you can tell them the way that I used to teach you. What did you have to do in your hands to have a class with me? Only your phone, nothing else.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much only my phone, and
Yeah.
every week for one
Mhm.
hour you called me, and we started. I remember it was really a surprise every time you called me, because I was always wondering what's the topic today, because every week you we were talking about something. It could be like politics or
Yeah.
entertainment or career, and
Yeah.
I never knew what we were going to talk about. So that was amazing, because during I remember during politic conversations we had, there were so many words and you know some, you know, some catchphrase or anything that you were always teaching me. So I felt like, okay, we're talking politics, and now we have to say, like, I have to say this word in English, but I don't think I ever said this word before. And you were always explaining to me. So we weren't just talking about the same thing over and over again. We were
Yeah,
always innovating and changing the subject, because
yeah.
I think that that was the greatest part.
And one thing that that I might tell you now is that I hate planning things. I like
Yeah,
teaching out of the cuff. You know, like I don't go thinking I'm gonna teach Pedro this today, all these topics. I think it doesn't seem organic. You know,
yeah,
like okay, I can write down an expression that I want to teach you that I don't want to forget, but planning the whole class for me, it seems that I'm going to be uptight into
yeah.
something that I can go off,
And
so
I believe that was the key for you,
mhm,
because when I started taking classes with you, you always understood where my
mhm,
weaknesses were. Because if you want to talk about orange, for instance, okay, I can talk about orange. For me, it's not an issue. But if you're going to talk about apples, okay, that's an issue for me. And
mhm,
most of the classes we see nowadays, most of the schools, okay, we're going to talk about both apple and oranges. But you didn't do that to me. You said, okay, Pedro, he doesn't quite understand apples. So that's the focus. We're going to have
mhm,
to start working together.
mhm,
So every time I came to a challenge, you understood the very point where you needed to guide me,
mhm,
and we're both like, you understood where my difficulties were, and I understood, okay, I need to start focusing on this. And we
mhm,
were like, we weren't wasting time in things that we didn't have to talk about, because okay, I'm good at this, but I'm not good at this. So let's try to focus here. I
mhm.
believe that was the key between our classes.
Yeah, and we even tell jokes in English about the daily life. We say any kind. We would talk about everything. Like, it was amazing. I never was a planning person. I would like to. I know that I have to have something in mind when I'm going to talk with my students, but I like to let the class go and see how
Yeah,
it goes, and I go like driving. Like it's like driving a car. You go organically. You don't know what's
yes,
going on. And I think it's the best way to do it. And let me tell you something. I unfortunately or fortunately, I am a perfectionist, or
yeah,
I try. With my YouTube channel, I want everything to go perfect. I want everything to be nice, but the best thing about it is that you don't have control, because you
yeah,
put out content, you put on your face, and you have to be very courageous to put your face out for people to see. And maybe you can do videos that people like, you might do videos that people don't like, but it's been a great challenge, and I'm loving to do it, because I like putting myself to the test. And that's what I did with you and with all my students. Like today, I can tell you that 70% of the students that I have, they don't have any methods. We have
yes,
only a word screen, the software Word, and I ask them, what do you want to learn today? And then we start a conversation, and then we start talking about the needs of every student. And this has been amazing to me, because I have students who tell me, hey, I need 7 classes a week. I said, I'm sorry, I can teach you 7 times a week because I don't have time because of
yeah,
my schedule. But it's really, really nice to bring friends to the interviews. Like every week is a different experience, and I wanted to bring you here because I wanted people to know the great level of English that you have. And but it doesn't matter how old you are, you can
Yeah.
get to the level of English that you want. And the secret word for learning a language is consistency. Never forget, because if you watch a class today and then you spend 1 week ahead and then you go to another one, you lose all the connection that you should have. And some time ago, I had a question, a very nice question from my friend Zobeida from Iran. She asked me, why should people hire a private tutor or a teacher to teach them once you have free classes on YouTube? Why should you hire a private tutor to teach you? And I ask you now, why should people study with me? And or what was your mother's decision to put you to study with us? And what is the difference?
Well, basically because if you want to learn English on YouTube, okay, fine. But if you have a private tutoring, it's completely different because you, for instance, you knew what I needed to learn. You know my weak spots. You
Mm-hmm.
knew what was very hard for me to understand and to learn. So if you want to learn from a video, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but the guy on the screen, he doesn't understand where your weaknesses are.
Yeah.
So when you have private tutoring, it's completely different because you can you can understand and identify every single thing that you need to learn. Because sometimes, as I said before, sometimes you're good at something, but not as good as you think you are at something else. So
Mm-hmm.
when we were talking about every kind of subject, you understood that, okay, Pedro, you're speaking about this, but let's try to focus on the grammar. And you taught me so many things that I know today because you understood, you were listening to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, YouTube's a great platform to learn sometimes, but at the same time, if you really want to achieve your perfection, you need someone to understand what you really need to learn. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the difference between um, when you have like private tutoring or you want to learn on YouTube, or back in school when you have another 30 students with you. Sometimes the guy on the screen or the teacher there, he doesn't quite understand what you need to learn. And you were focusing on me 100%. So you
Mm-hmm.
knew, okay, Pedro, I'm going to make you a test here. You're going to have to study this, and that.
Mm-hmm.
And those were my weaknesses. And you quite knew what I needed to learn at the time. So I think that's the very big difference. And if you truly want to learn English to use in your life, or to, I don't know, understand a movie, or go to another country, you need to understand exactly what you need to learn at the time.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the difference.
I think that's perfect. And I have one last challenging question for you, but I am going to put my view first and then can put yours. That is, my channel is called Rod, the Brazilian English Teacher, not
Yeah.
because it was something thought out. Why was it thought out? Because I am a Brazilian who speaks English. I'm not a native. Okay, I got the level of near native, which is the highest level that a person who doesn't speak English can get. But sometimes people want to have classes, English classes, only with natives. What do you think of this? Because I was never a native, and I am proud to tell everybody that I am a Brazilian who speaks English. I'll never forget my mother tongue, which is Portuguese. I love Portuguese, but what do you think about this when people come to you? Oh, I prefer to study with with a native speaker than with a Brazilian who teaches English. What is your idea?
Well, well, major because when you think about having a native speaker teaching
Mm-hmm,
you how to speak their language,
mm-hmm,
okay, he understands, he knows the language that you're trying to learn, but at the same time, I need to know that my teacher, he also speaks my language and understands why I am speaking like that. And if I say something wrong in English, you
Mm-hmm.
can't understand why I said that, because sometimes you can get a little mixed up with Portuguese, or, you know, okay, if you want to learn with some native, I don't think that's the best way, because he doesn't really understand the way from Portuguese to English,
Mm-hmm.
and you went through that process, so you can easily remember. Okay, when I started learning this, that's the method that I used. So when you, it's like the same thing that I wanted to speak to teach Portuguese to an American. Uh, if I come to that, okay, I will explain this in Portuguese, and if he doesn't understand anything, perhaps I can even explain, because that's the way I spoke my whole life, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I learned so many things from you, especially
Mm-hmm.
because you went through the process of learning first. And I believe that learning is the best way to teach someone. And
Yeah.
if an American is gonna teach me how to speak Portuguese, speak
Mhm.
English, and he doesn't understand Portuguese, it's gonna be much harder, I think.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Brent Watson has just joined the live stream. Brent, this is Pedro, my student. He studied English with me since he was 9 years old, and he's 24 now, and he never lived in the States or anywhere. He just went to New York with me. He was one of the students that I took to New York, and I wanted to bring him to show everybody the level of English that he has today, and it's really amazing. So, Pedro, I really agree with your answer about being a non-native teacher, because, like, 2 days ago, Brent was one of my greatest supporters to record quick lessons on my channel. And I recorded a video for Brazilians, especially. Of course, I explained in English as well, but how many and how much in 30 seconds? Because for Brazilians, the way you say how many and how much, it's pretty easy. You can learn in 30 seconds. But when you explain that in English as well, you have to think about other ways. And as my audience is not only Brazilians, I have sometimes to do this mixed languages, like Portuguese and English at the same time. But I agree with your answer. And yes, Brent, his English is amazing. For you to have an idea, he works for a TV network in Brazil, with marketing communication, which is his major. And he went to my school for private tutoring. He was 9 years old. And now he's 24 and he speaks that way. So, Pedro, let me ask you something that I think it's a good question. Let's play a little bit. What is the most beautiful word in English for you?
Um, I don't think I have an answer for that. That I don't. I have to think about a little bit. Come back with
Yeah,
that question later.
you have many words that you like,
Yeah,
but I know that. But when you discover that English opened doors for you, when was that? When exactly you could tell, oh, English opened doors for me right now?
I think it was when we went to the United States for the first time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I remember going shopping by my own, or going to a restaurant, or anything that I could do. I understood that that was really important for me, because anything I wanted to do, it doesn't matter if it's traveling or for work or anything else, the level of that I achieved, and where I am right now, that I feel really I'm not saying that I'm great, like I can speak English perfectly, but where I am right now, that I feel comfortable speaking with you or speaking to somebody else. I think that it really shows me that all those years studying really paid off.
Mm-hmm.
And every time, as I said before, every time that I went to a interview, or I was talking to someone that could potentially hire me for some reason, and they asked me, do you feel comfortable speaking English, because perhaps you're gonna have to? And I said, okay, sure, no, it's no problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes uh, I could see that. I remember when I was working for this tech company last year, and this girl, she needed to call to the headquarters back, I think in Texas. I don't remember well. And she said, "Oh, but I have to call them, but I can't speak English." And I said, "Okay, sure, I'll do it. No, it's no problem." So I was translating to her everything that they were saying to me, and
Mm-hmm.
my boss, he came to me and he said, "Oh, I remember when I asked you in the interview if you spoke a little bit of English. That's the reason, because sometimes you're gonna have to do that."
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big difference between when you feel comfortable, or you just feel like, okay, sure, I can understand, but I never wanted to just understand a movie or something. I wanted to be able to communicate with someone, and
Yeah.
that's the whole reason that I studied for so long with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's amazing. I wanted to tell your story, and I think that we have a great friendship. Of course, that I bring people to talk to me on Instagram, people that I like and people that I'm comfortable with, and the interviews that I do on the channel, the interviews that I do here. My channel is changing a little bit right now because I not only have the interviews, but I'm going to have other contents right now as well. And it's really important. It's like a game changer to see students like you, students like Murilo, students like Diego, and many others, Elaine, and many others that I have here that learn English with me today. We help each other to make it better. But I think that one of the most important things is when you try to improve yourself. Finding other ways, not only with textbook, because I know that Brent studies Italian. So every teacher who has a channel, that's what I wanted to say. Every teacher who has a channel, who teaches on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, they probably are learning other languages, like
Yeah,
because they understand the need of other people. Like Gino from Real Everyday English studies Spanish. Brent studies Italian. Bob the Canadian studies French. So why are they working so handsomely well with their channels? Because for me, I'm gonna say it. Brent is a rising star on YouTube, and also Bob is a legend, as Brent and I like to say. So Aron, my friend Aron from Italy, he people are telling me, oh, the Italian guy who teaches Italian in English. So that's another recognition as well. Although they have a podcast, Brent and Aron have also a podcast. So all of these people who are teaching others on YouTube, they teach better, they teach well because they are learning other languages. And one thing that I told Brent during our interview, because part two is available now on my channel, is that every time that I teach English, I'm out of my comfort zone. Because I speak English, okay, for 30 something years, but I am out of my comfort zone, you know? So, because English, want to believe it or not, is not my native language. So I'm not teaching Portuguese to someone. I'm teaching English. So I
Yeah.
I'm teaching my target language. And that's very, very important. So I have to thank Brent, Bob, Gino, and all the devotion that we have for teaching all these people, uh, on YouTube, in person. It doesn't matter. I love teaching people. That's what's important to me. We have Diego here, who's a great student. We have Sida, who's another student of mine. All people that I met along the way, who are my students right now. And once again, to finish and to wrap it up, uh, in the best way possible, English is consistency. Any language that you want to learn is consistency. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
dear, dear friend, because I had to take care of you while you were in New York the first time because you were so young, and your mother asked me, "Please bring him to me alive." That's that was her sentence to me before we went. And it's a pleasure to see how far you've gone, and it's a pleasure to be part of your story. So, thank you so much for being so courageous and to accept my invitation to be here with me. Um, Thank you, everybody that are here. And we are finishing for the day. Do you have any last questions that you want to say?
Yeah. When you asked me to be here, I felt really happy
Any last?
because
Sorry.
you're always here for me, and I'm forever grateful for everything you've done for me. You're a big part of my life. Everything that you and Talita taught me, I'll forever carry with me. So everyone who wants to learn English, really wants to learn every single day, and at the same time have some kind of fun, I think Rod is your guy. So thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
Thank you very much, and keep doing, keep going, and keep being yourself.
Thank you.
Because you are a great person. Thank you very much for being here with me, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it and liked it. And don't forget that tomorrow I'm doing my first joint live stream with my friend Gino, from Real Everyday English. We're going live at 9 a.m. Brazilian time. Okay, so it's gonna be fun. I hope if everything goes well, it's gonna be fun. If everything works fine, to put the two of us together. And find my channel if you want, Rod the Brazilian English Teacher. Pedro, thank you again. Thank you
Thank you.
for being. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Zobeira, Diego, everybody who's here. João Gabriel, who I don't see in a long time. I'm going to call you any of these days. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Pedro. See you soon.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.